Hey everyone, so let's talk about something really interesting. Picture this. You've been brewing a beautiful microbial culture. Maybe it's that vibrant purple you're looking for, but then one morning you walk in and the whole thing has turned this deep, opaque, mysterious black. What happened? Today, we're going to get into that very transformation and what it really means for your farm. So you're staring at this black liquid and, your first reaction is probably a little bit of panic, right? Did it go bad? Is it contaminated? Have I just wasted this whole batch? And look, that's a totally real possibility, but there's another one, a much more exciting one. You might have just accidentally created one of the most powerful biological tools you can possibly have.
What you're looking at is one of two things. On the one hand, you could have what's known as the Black Death, a culture that's gone septic, full of toxic, sulfate-reducing bacteria. You'll know it from that rotten egg smell, and that you have to destroy, no question. But on the other hand, you might have just forged the Black Pearl, an incredibly high-value, super stress-adapted biology that acts like a powerful shield for your plants. So how in the world do you tell the difference?
Well, and this is the really cool part. There's a ridiculously simple and totally definitive test to figure it out. You don't need any special gear, no fancy lab equipment. It all comes down to just one thing. How does the culture react to stress? Specifically, the stress from intense, direct sunlight. It's called the sunlight stress test, and honestly, it couldn't be easier. All you do is take a small sample of your black liquid, put it in a clear jar or a bottle, and stick it in the brightest, harshest sunlight you can find. Then you just leave it there for 2 days. That's it. What happens next tells you everything you need to know. So, after 48 hours, here's what you're looking for. If the liquid has cleared up or turned a kind of dull, lifeless gray, well, that's bad news. You've got those toxic sulfate-reducing bacteria, the SRBs. The sun's UV rays just completely fried them. The directive here is simple. Destroy the whole batch. But if that culture is still black, and maybe it's even developed this deep, glossy sheen, you have absolutely hit the jackpot. That's a melanin-rich photosynthetic bacteria, an incredible asset. Why? Because it's full of melanin that is literally shielding its DNA from that harsh UV. And the directive here? You bank it. You protect that stuff. Okay, so you've just confirmed you've got treasure on your hands. But what is this black pearl really? And how did you even make it? Well, it wasn't an accident. You actually forged it by putting your microbes under a very specific kind of stress. You essentially forced them to create their own biological sunscreen. The key here is a compound called melanin. And we're all familiar with it, right? It's the pigment in our own skin that protects us from sunburn. Well, these little microbes do the exact same thing. When they're hit with intense light, they start pumping out melanin to create this protective shield around their own DNA. So that deep black color, it's not a sign of death, it's a suit of armor. And this brings us to a really crucial mindset shift. To create the black pearl, you have to realize you're not just growing bacteria anymore. You are actually farming stress. You're intentionally pushing these organisms, using intense light to force them to stop just mindlessly reproducing, and instead start building up their defenses, creating that amazing suit of armor. And this armored culture is a specialist. It's not some all-purpose fertilizer you just splash around for growth. No, this is a survival serum. It's a stress shield. That melanin acts as a shield against radiation and heat. It's also an amazing heavy metal sponge. It literally binds to nasty stuff like lead and cadmium in the soil so the plant doesn't absorb them. And it's fantastic for helping with salt issues. This stuff isn't for everyday growth. It's for extreme survival. So what's the best way to use this incredible survival tool? Well, the most powerful application happens right at the beginning of a plant's life. We're talking about giving it a shield right from day one by armoring the seed itself. I mean, this is the whole idea right here. When you coat a seed with this biofilm, you're basically shrink-wrapping it in its own personal defense system. It's a UV-resistant, drought-tolerant shield that watches over that tiny little seedling during its most fragile time, that moment of germination when it's most vulnerable. And the way you do it is so practical, so low-tech. First, you just carefully pour off the liquid from your mature black pearl culture. Then you get in there and scrape out all that thick, black, sludgy biofilm that's settled on the bottom and sides. Finally, you just take that undiluted paste and toss your seeds in it until they've got a nice light coating. Then they're ready to plant. It's that simple. Now, to really grasp just how cool this tool is, we need to put it into a bigger picture. In regenerative ag, we talk a lot about the plant health pyramid, which is basically the different levels of a plant's immune system. And the black pearl, well, it's not for building the foundation. It is an elite tool that helps a plant reach the absolute apex of its own resilience. Right down at the bottom, at level 1, you've got basic photosynthesis. The plant is just making enough sugars and energy to stay alive. It's surviving. But it's also really vulnerable. It's basically an open buffet for every pest and disease out there. Now, at level 2, the plant's doing better. It has enough energy to build complete proteins. And here's the cool part. A lot of simple sucking insects can't actually digest complete proteins. So just by being healthier, the plant develops this passive immunity. It's no longer such an easy meal. Then we get to level 3. Here, the plant has so much extra energy it starts storing it as fats or lipids. It uses these fats to build a thick, waxy, glossy coating on its leaves. This physical shield is its main line of defense against airborne diseases like powdery mildew or blight. And finally, we reach the peak, level 4. This is where the plant gets its own active immune system. It starts manufacturing these powerful defensive compounds. You know, essential oils, terpenes, all the things that give plants their strong smells and flavors. This is a plant that literally tastes and smells bad to its enemies. It can truly defend itself. And this is where the black pearl comes in. It's not a fertilizer you use to push a sick plant from level 1 to level 2. No way. Think of it as a special ops tool. It's that survival serum you give a plant to help it endure the crazy environmental stress, like a brutal heat wave or a drought, that would normally just kill it. It lets the plant survive long enough to achieve and then maintain that highest level of immunity, level 4. So it really leaves us with a pretty provocative thought, doesn't it? In a world that's facing more and more climate stress, brutal heat, and degrading soils, what if the key to real resilience isn't about inventing some new chemical to spray? What if it's about relearning how to farm stress itself and how to harness biology's most ancient and powerful survival instincts?